everyone, back for office hours number 3. All right, today, wait, where'd Shalom go? Today we have Vicky Walters, Director of Client Solutions. Welcome, Vicky. You're now a celebrity, or hopefully about to be a very big one. Today, and you guys are both in a very beautiful office. I like it. I'm not, I'm in the basement, but I want to just say office hours number 3. Thank you guys for joining us. Today we're going to discuss why it is important to have 100% measurement. Jenny, passing it to you.
Cool. Yeah. So Mark, when you're saying 100% measurement, it seems a little redundant. Like, isn't it already 100%?
Yeah, one would think. So from the beginning of time, like TV and radio have always been sampled. Remember those statistics classes we all used to take, right? You get a strong enough sample size, you extrapolate and calculate and do the rest. It's still sample.
So, but okay, well, we're not in the context of TV. So you're basically saying that digital measurement firms are not already measuring 100%?
Yep. Most measurement firms and partner sample. It's not really a secret. It's in the fine print of contracts and sometimes even in bigger print, but it's also not something that people talk about or advertise.
So then do any vendors measure 100% or is it just MMI?
You should ask, if you're a client asking this question, you should ask your partners.
Oh, so politically correct. I'll be the sales guy. We measure 100%. Please call me. Think of it this way, like for other vendors, and you really should get clarity. Maybe a buyer is calling their tag at 100%, and 100% it's firing. You should really, like, I guess I'm trying to explain this. They're not looking at it every fire. It's firing 100%. They're choosing a sample from the fires, if that makes more sense. So think of it as maybe your ad server is saying it's firing at 100%, but it's actually not looking and doing all that diligence to prove the viewability, to prove the invalid, to do all it has to do. So again, we don't want to rain on too many parades, but we do want to educate. And this is, again, reminder for everybody. Internally for MMI and externally, you see us here on LinkedIn and YouTube and all the other Twitter, but also this is an internal conversation we've been really enjoying. So ask your vendor.
So let's actually rain on some parades, though. Like, tell me, like, what are the flaws from sampling?
Oh, raining. I guess some bad guys would really, argue. So sorry, some would argue like the bad guys are, gaming the system. They can kind of figure out what's and how to be sampled. Or a good example is Shalan Dar, our CEO and founder, was doing research back in the day, his mystery shopping report, which is something I think everyone should read. Hopefully internally we've done that. Externally you should read it. It's a little old,
Yeah,
but it's great,
I can
great
link it in the comments too.
Oh, good. Okay. When he did that, he built a website and sent not real traffic there. 99% of the traffic was not real. And the results were a verification vendor coming, hey, some of your traffic is not real. No, all of it was not real. But in the sample, they kind of extrapolated saying, hey, some of this is not real. And that's a flaw. Like, you have to be able to measure 100%. This is like, to us, it's not a nice to have. This is a necessary baseline. And if you're getting sampled, there are 93 different ways to screw you out of the 100.
I'm not going to say that sampling is going to kill you or kill your business, but like Mark said, it's literally always better to have all of the information. I like to think of it as like, if you have a plate of Oreos and you eat 5, do you really know how the other 5 taste? Or do you like have to taste them to find out?
I really want Oreos right now, guys.
Jenny, we were recording office hours now. Eat later.
No, but like if Oreos wants to sponsor our next episode of Office Hours, just slide into our DMs.
All right.
Call us, Nabisco. We're here.
All right. Call us.
So what's the sample norm then?
That's a great question. Probably should be, asked by the buyer. I mean, I've been really advocating for a lot of buyers to be asking all the vendors, in their RFP process, what is your decision rate? I think what is your decision rate is a question that needs to come out in all RFPs, needs to come out in all questions in vendor evaluations. We've asked them, MRC, to try to make this a mandatory disclosure, because if you know what the sample rate is, you can probably make some decisions. To give you a long-winded answer, my guess is it's probably around 5 to 30%, but Vicky probably knows a lot better.
It definitely varies based on partner. Those numbers sound plausible to me, Mark, but like you said, this is definitely a question that advertisers should be asking their partners, because it could vary even within one partner from client to client.
So then, okay, I'm just trying to understand this a little bit better. Why would the other vendors just sample? Like, it seems kind of counterintuitive to be a measurement and verification vendor, but to not measure everything and verify everything. So like, what would be the benefit to that, if any?
Great question. And I mean, the rationale, like with everything in ad tech, it varies based on who you're talking to and who you're asking, but it often comes down to costs and data size and data storage. Collecting all of the impressions that you track, like all of them, is heavy. We know, we do it, it's heavy. And depending on the number of data points you're collecting or what you're tracking and what you're trying to look at, it might be too heavy, or a data cost might be too high for it to make sense for a partner.
Yeah, I mean, I would also add just, our costs are not the client's problems, right? So as we talk internally, our costs are not the client's problems. We have to price it accordingly, and our costs are our problems. And we have designed an infrastructure that scales and is efficient, and we pass those efficiencies on to our clients. And that's why, the pricing models that we are become, quote unquote, very efficient and effective for our clients, is because we're not passing on these high data cost fees that the others are struggling with. We've figured out how to do this, I think, more efficiently.
And Mark, we built this with this scaling in mind. That's one of the bonuses of coming in a little bit later in the game, is we were able to see how other partners were scaling and sampling, and we could blow ourselves up the right way.
Vicky, you're stealing my second movers advantage. Yes, no, that's true. It is a second movers advantage that we've had. I mean, they have built their infrastructure, and we're coming in this a little bit more eyes wide open.
So determining my decision rate is important. What can 100% measurement do?
Well, in addition to letting you eat all 10 Oreos, you measure everything. It closes the gap. If someone's trying to sneak in when you're not looking, if you're always looking, they can't sneak in. The way you implement tags, the way partners implement tags, it can provide visibility on everything from viewability to fraud to brand safety, whatever matters to you. If you're not looking at 100% of the time, then you're missing some percentage where they might not, it might not be doing what you want it to do.
Totally agree. And I would also add, you get the receipts. I mean, when you get 100% measurement, you get the receipts. And that's the kind of aha moment for a lot of advertisers we talk to, is like, oh, I'm getting my receipts finally, like everything. Because if you're getting sample receipts, you're just getting half the bill. We talk a lot about SPO, supply path optimization. This is probably one time when Jenny puts up the definition. And one of the things we found with 100% measurement, and you start attaching quality metrics to the measurement, you can start putting the pieces together, and those pieces allow you to do really good, strong optimizations with knowledge. Not everything's going to be based off of a click. A lot of SPO is done off of a click. Well, if that click is not human and you didn't know it was not human, you can't do the right optimization. So there's little things like that that start to put quality metrics with the supply path, and then you can start to see where you need to be advertising more or less to, and remove the waste.
Okay, so then here's my next question. If advertisers are not measuring 100%, when a client asks for measurement log files, how are those going to match up?
Welcome to my life, Jenny. I get this common question like, hey, I already have my log files from my vendor. Well, okay, then ask them if they match up. The way I like to try to explain it is, let's just say you bought 1 million impressions and there's 1 million rows. Your DSP, your ad server are going to have a little different number there in rows, but your measurement provider is going to have a lot less rows. And so you're actually not getting the full picture. And so the verification is often the smallest due to the sampling. And so if you're asking for log files, which is a great thing to always do, just make sure you know what you're getting. You're getting an aggregated sample, basically, of or a sample of what you just bought in verification. So hopefully that helped. It's a little nuanced, but you know, these are the types of questions you should be asking.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Mark, Vicky, this has been super helpful and informative. Do you have any like closing thoughts for this episode?
I think Shalin is no longer needed.
Oh,
Oh no, did I just say that out loud? No,
Our boss too.
he is our boss. Yes, I know. I know how the org chart looks. Yes. He is wonderful. We love him. But Vicky, good job. Thank you for joining us today. Jenny, as always, good job. And I did an average job. I think it's been great for our internal teams. I know we've been discussing a lot of the topics in our all hands meeting. Hopefully everyone else agrees. Outside of our little world that we live in MMI, if you do have any suggestions of things we should be talking about, or you have any questions, please just add comments to anything we post. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're trying to be everywhere we want to be, and you can reach out to us. Thank you guys for your time here. Thank you for listening, watching, however you have engaged in this content.
all right. See you guys next time.
You know.